This man created his own Lamborghini. Welcome back, Charlie here. Some cars can be pretty boring, but not these cars. From people who built their own luxury supercars, to cars that can fly, and even the most expensive car in the world. Here are the most unusual cars ever made. First, we have to look at this DIY Lamborghini. The Lamborghini Reventon is one of the nicest cars out there, but it's also one of the most expensive at around $2 million. Wang Jian, the son of a humble farmer from China, did not have $2 million, but nothing was going to stop him from getting his dream car, the Lamborghini Reventon. So instead, he decided to build his own. He did this using whatever parts and materials he could get. Amazingly, he only had to spend $9,500 to build his very own Lamborghini. Wang calls his creation the poor man's Lamborghini. Lamborghini only ever made 21 Lamborghini Reventons, but now I guess there are 22 of these in the world. Although Wang's car does look similar to the Reventon, there are some major differences. Instead of the normal carbon fiber exterior, Wang's car is made of iron. And instead of the Lamborghini's famous V12 engine, Wang's car has an engine from an old Nissan van. The chassis on Wang's car also comes from an old Volkswagen. Also, the interior is clearly not Lamborghini standard, but it's still insanely impressive for only $9,500. Also, the entire car was made by hand by Wang and no one else. Wang also says he wants to start his own sports car business. Instead of driving his car around Dubai or Monaco, Wang uses it to transport fertilizer to his parents' farm. That's because Chinese police banned him from driving it on the road. I think for all Wang's effort, Lamborghini should give this guy a free car. Next, we have to look at the Aeromobile. Just imagine seeing a car driving down the road, when all of a sudden it takes off into the sky. Well, that's literally what will happen if you see an Aeromobile driving around. These flying cars are made by a Slovakian company, and you can buy one. If you have a spare $1.6 million lying around, that is. Only 500 of these cars have ever been made. The goal of the car is to allow everyday drivers to travel in the skies. The car can drive around on roads, but if it's safe, you can also take off and fly over traffic. Just imagine one of these cutting you off. The Aeromobile can fly at a top speed of 124 miles per hour. The car is getting more and more popular, so we may be seeing flying cars on the road sooner than you think. Next, we have to look at this DIY electric supercar. With the rising cost of gas, who wouldn't want an electric supercar? The only downside is they cost serious money. Money that Cheng Yingxi from China simply didn't have. So that's why he decided to grab his toolbox and build his own. The 27-year-old hand-built this entire car. It cost him only $4,000 to make. The car has stunning red paint, a plush interior, and even scissor doors. It's insane that one man built this car in such little time with such little money. Chen paid for the car's construction by leasing it out for photo shoots. It's safe to say this young engineer really does have the entrepreneurial spirit. Next, we have to look at the Bloodhound. You may think the world's fastest car would be a Bugatti or a Lamborghini, or maybe even an F1 racing car, but the Bloodhound leaves all of those other cars in the dust. The Bloodhound was specifically made to break the world record for the fastest car. The car is jet-powered and was able to break the land speed record. It's basically a hybrid of a space rocket and a racing car. But how fast did it really go? The fastest speed reached by the Bloodhound so far is 763 miles per hour. But the vehicle is believed to be able to achieve up to 1,000 miles per hour. Every year, the vehicle tries to beat its previous record. It's hoped that by 2024, the Bloodhound will reach 1,000 miles per hour, which would break its own record for the fastest land speed. Moving on, let's look at the Sea Lion. If you want a car and a boat but only have the money for one, then I've got the car for you. It's called the Sea Lion. It can travel on the road and on water. One of these can be yours for $259,500. $500. It can go fast on land and water. It's actually the fastest amphibian car. The body is made from welded aluminium, allowing it to be very aerodynamic. It can travel at speeds of 180 miles per hour on land and 60 miles per hour on water. Considering the average motorboat goes at a speed of only 30 miles an hour, the Sea Line is equipped with a 174 horsepower Mazda engine, but future models will have a 600 horsepower Renesys RX-8 engine, allowing this car to dominate both on the roads and in the water. Moving on, we have to look at this DIY Countach. The Lamborghini Countach is one of the most desirable cars in the world, which is why the Countach will cost you $2.64 million. That's simply out of reach for most people, including Ken Imhoff. But instead of giving up, Ken decided to build his own. It took Ken over 10 years in his basement to build this. He built it by hand, mainly using aluminium. Ken used measurements from a real Countach, ensuring that the body was 100% correct. He did make a few minor changes, but to most people it looks like a real Lamborghini Countach. Ken was inspired to build this car after seeing it in the movie Cannonball Run. In total, it cost Ken $65,000 to build this car, meaning that it saved him millions of dollars. To get the car out of his basement, he had to knock down the basement wall, and then build a ramp to drive it up. Ken's car is complete with real Lamborghini taillights, parking lights, windshield, and badges. Under the hood is a 514 horsepower Ford V8 engine, making this homemade car insanely powerful. Next, we have to look at the most expensive car. The most expensive retail car is the Rolls-Royce Boattail, which costs a whopping $28 million. But that's not the most expensive car in the world. The most expensive car ever created is actually said to be this Mercedes SL600. It's covered in diamonds and the interior is made of mink fur. It reportedly costs $30 million. It was presented at a Dubai Auto Show in 2007 and was made to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Mercedes-Benz SL550. It took 13 people 2 weeks to attach all of the diamonds. In total, over 300,000 diamonds were used. But I wouldn't want to drive this car anywhere. Just a small scratch could set you back millions of dollars. And a car like this basically screams, "Rob me" to any criminals. That being said, the car is still totally amazing to look at. And although it is fully functioning, it's more of an art piece than a car to drive. Now let's look at the longest limo. This Cadillac Eldorado from the 1970s is the longest limousine in the world. It's an insane 30.5 meters long. It moves around on 26 wheels. The limo has everything a billionaire could ever need, including a pool, jacuzzi, and helipad. It has sofas, beds, and bars, and has 2 separate cockpits for its drivers, one in the front and one in the rear. The rear driver is responsible for reversing. This was used for some years in the 1970s and 80s, before eventually being abandoned in New Jersey. Thankfully, the Automotive Museum in New York purchased it, ensuring that this amazing vehicle isn't lost to time. Moving along, we have to look at the Avatar 2. In 2022, Mercedes-Benz created a vehicle based on the Avatar movie. The car doesn't even look real, but it is. The car is sleek and glows, and can even move sideways like a crab. With the Avatar 2, parallel parking couldn't be easier. The car also has something known as Avatar Skin. These move in response to their environment, altering the car's aerodynamics and braking power. Inside the car, you'll notice something's missing. That's right, the car has no steering wheel. Instead, you steer with what's known as the car's mouse. The car has a top speed of 223 miles per hour. Right now, prototypes of the car have been made. It's said that when these are mass-produced, the price will be $76,000, which is honestly not too bad for for such a futuristic looking car. Finally, let's look at this plain limo. This limo was built using a Boeing 727. It had its wings and tails chopped off, and was then attached to a Mercedes-Benz bus, creating this amazing limousine plane hybrid. It was first made by a Mexican limousine company, but was later bought by an unknown person in the United States. The plane's cockpit is still intact, but with a steering wheel added so it can be driven on the road. The limo is 53 feet long, and inside it has a TV, a fireplace, and a dance floor, making it the ultimate party vehicle. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Comment below which of these cars was the most bizarre. If you want to see my short videos, then check out my second channel. I've been Charlie, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, then what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.